Cool, we're live and I'm looking at my phone. So hopefully your day is going better. Everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts episode 340. This is one where you get to look at my beautiful cardboard boxes, all the glamorous stuff in my echoey office. I'm still getting moved in, so I apologize if it sounds weird. But the good news is we got a lot of good stuff for you today, and we've got a lot of really good questions. So looking forward to diving into that. But before we do that, want to go around and say hi to the guys, see what's going on there. So let me go in a loop here. Marco, you're first today, man. How you doing?
Imagine that.
Oh, I like it. Well, you've got a plant now too. You're kind of livening things up.
That went in there before. My daughter decided it looked too bare, that I needed something, or we needed, since they're doing school with me, or they're doing school here in the office with me. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm dropping images with case studies and results, and I'm showing people. It's things that I don't normally do, because I don't like being one of those cheesy guys. Hey, look what I can do. Because it's really easy to fake shit, and it's what I mentioned in here before. Along with that, if you're in one of the paid groups, what I do is I actually take you behind the scenes and show you how it all got done. So everything that was done to get there is what's actually shared in the paid groups. For free, you get to see the results. Paid, you get to see how we got to the results, which is all, of course, it's the semantic mastery process from beginning to end. And then once that's set up, it's simply lather, rinse, repeat. And it's maintenance, and most of it then becomes profit. There is maintenance, there's link building, there's embeds and link building. You still have to write content. You pay your content writers. You pay, I pay the GMB, VA, the content writing VA. But I mean, once that's done, the process takes care of itself. The first 90 days, that's the crucial part where you're setting everything up to deliver the results that you need. But after that, it's like taking candy from a baby, man. It's ridiculous what happens. Guys, if you're not in one of the groups, go join one of the free groups. We have a semantic mastery group, SEO and marketing by semantic mastery. Heavy Hitter has a free group also, lots of free information. The SEO Sheild.com, heavyhitter.club starts off at a free level. If you're in YouTube, free information. We have free information everywhere for you to get started, make some money, and then invest. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're planning on doing this shit for free, that's about the results that you're going to get. So you're going to invest a whole lot of time and a whole lot of sweat equity with little to no result. I mean, we've had people who come in here and ask pointed questions, and we do answer them, and they've built businesses from our answers here. We know people who have done that. Yeah. Paul Fussell comes to mind. He's one of the guys that did that. Then he went off into other groups and got some more training, which is perfectly fine. But you really have to be committed to do it that way, with like for free, for no money. You're not going to pay any money whatsoever. I would say invest in your education up to a point, but then you have to take action. I keep saying it. You're going to hear this as a recurring theme whenever you listen to me talk. Take action, some kind of action, and then see it through to the end. Don't just, you don't just get started, the inertia, right? You get rid of that inertia and you begin, but then you stop. Well, fuck, why'd you stop? You don't know now. You don't know whether it could have worked because you stopped, you quit. You quit. What, you don't want to fail? Failure is simply a way that tells you, don't do it that way, do it another way, try it another way until you succeed. You're going to hear me over and over and over again. I repeat this to people. I mean, people pay me a whole lot of fucking money to tell them this. You'd be surprised how many people, successful people, need someone to kick them in the can every once in a while because they get complacent. They start making all that money and then they get complacent rather than staying in that mode where I'm going to keep killing it. At any rate, here it is. This is the result. I live where I want, not where I have to live. This is where I want to be. This is my base, my fortress of solitude, to go back to Pofu. This is where I want to be. And from here, I do what the fuck I want. And that's just the way it is, man. Next.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, tough one to follow on to that. But Chris, I'm going to throw you under the bus today. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Yeah, super excited while everybody's like bathing in blood and stuff. Like I went shopping and was quite excited about the crypto drop and stuff. So quite happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Real quick, Bradley, did you see my message in Slack?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it now, man.
Gotcha. Okay, no worries. So in
quick
the meantime, what's up, Chris?
Quick question regarding the box on the left corner. Do you get a kitty again?
Sadly not.
Yeah?
It's mostly empty. It's full of cables. I think everyone's got
Alright.
one, right? That box of just random computer shit that you keep in the closet. So yeah,
Got
sorry. Nothing exciting. That's exciting. I'm really pumped about the whiteboard, but enough about me. Hernan, how you doing today?
Good, man. Good. Same as Chris. You know, everyone is panicking. I'm buying, so everything is great, man. I'm excited to be here. Really, really excited to be here, and you know, and helping the community, giving back to the community as much as possible. So I'm good.
Cool. Yeah, we need to post some memes on the page. Maybe what is it? The everything's fine and the fire in the background, just like
fire.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
I need all of you to focus on selling. Everybody, go sell your crypto. Go sell it. I'm a buyer right now. Go sell it. Go.
And Bradley, real quick, you good to talk, or are you doing some background stuff?
No, it's good.
Cool. How you doing, man?
Yeah, sorry, I dropped the ball on updating that page. Yeah, things are good, man. Busy as hell. What Marco said is true. It's funny that, for a while, because I was doing real estate stuff and I kind of got away from really, keeping sharp on SEO stuff and map stuff. And I'd let a lot of it go because I had lost my primary lead buyer and with tree services and such. So, and I thought I was going to get away from doing all this stuff for a while because real estate was killing it for me, but I can't get away from it. It's like, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, and I agree with Marco 100%. You got to stay sharp, and you get complacent if you don't. And then next thing you know, you're playing catch up again. And so it's been interesting for me for the last several months now, actually, because I got kind of my enthusiasm has been rekindled for SEO and map stuff, and especially local SEO and lead gen. And I've just been fascinated with stuff lately. And I think really what sparked it for me was listening to Rob at POFU Live last year, and him and Jordan, when they were talking about schema stuff, and I just became absolutely fascinated with it all over again. And it's really just been this path ever since that I've been going down, and really focusing back on local SEO again, and doing all kinds of stuff with Rob and Marco tell me to do. I've been doing some of my own testing different tools, different methods, different link building methods, all kinds of stuff, and just having a lot of fun doing it. So I totally agree. You got to stay sharp. You got to do, ask questions, tinker, play around, test things, and that's how you kind of develop your own flavor, which is fine. We encourage that. Go out and find training from other people if you'd like, and kind of create. If you want to be good at SEO, you don't just follow what somebody else tells you, maybe to begin with, but you start doing your own tests and things like that to try to determine what works best for you. And so hopefully this is a good resource for you guys to come get at least some guidance.
Yeah, I'm going to tell people who are just beginning to choose one person that you're going to follow, but a person who is showing verified results, live, real world results, not this lab shit where everything's in a bubble and then it doesn't apply when you bring it to the real world. Right, so if you're new, you don't have to pick semantic mastery. I've only been doing it for 18 years, so you don't have to listen to me. You can listen to somebody else. That's fine. But make sure that they have verified results and that you can replicate the results. So you go, you try, you take the training, and then you follow it through. The only way you're gonna know if it works is if you follow it through to the end. At that point, then you decide, well, wait a minute, this guy sold me a bill of goods. I need to go find someone whose results I can actually replicate, who's showing the results. Number one, who is going behind the scenes and showing you the real metrics, not third-party shit, because any third-party shit can be fake, but actually taking you into Google Analytics, Google Search Console, into the call data, into the GMB, into insights, into everything that matters. Who is doing that? Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to put their money on the line and say, look, this is how I'm doing it. This is how you could do it too. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Go follow whoever you want. But once you do, take that, follow it to the end. Then you can start going through the different training. Wait a minute, this guy seems to be making sense. How can I apply that to build on what I'm doing, to make it better, to make it work maybe better, to make it produce more? That's the only warning that I would give people when because if you get all fragmented in the training, what you're going to do is you're going to do bits and pieces of each piece of training, and I guarantee you that's not going to work.
Right on.
I got a couple more things. One, since we're speaking about Schema, Bradley, did you already mention the course that Rob had recently, or is I don't know what the right word would be, showing, pulling the covers off of?
No, I didn't mention it, but that's you know, Rob, one of the first questions we have is about structured data, and I just wanted to mention that, you know, Rob's got a course that he's launched, I think just this week actually. It's Schema Tech or something like that. It's his Schema training course, and Rob is a freaking Schema savant, which is, again, that's kind of what sparked my interest. You know, kind of rekindled my interest in SEO, was just hearing him talk about Schema back in Kofu Live last year. And that really set me right back down that path that I've, you know, had kind of gotten off of for years. So I can only imagine. I have not been through it yet, but I plan on it for sure. And I can only imagine it's probably the best Schema course available right now.
Good stuff. All right, and I just put the
Don't
link.
we have? Don't we have an affiliate?
Yeah, I just put the link on the page. Everyone can go and check that out. I'm losing my damn brain because I had too many tabs open. Let me bring it back here. So I got 3 things I want to touch base on, and then we'll kind of release the hounds onto the questions here. But first of all, Marco mentioned this. I just want to say again, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, you're new to MGYB, this is your first time or first few times seeing us, head over to the SEOSheild.com. That's the word the. SEOSheild.com. Grab that. It's free training. It's going to help you understand some of the stuff we're talking about. But also, if you're interested in not having to worry about algorithm updates again, ding, ding, ding. Hopefully that sounds like a good thing. Go grab it. Go check it out. Also, if you're looking to easily automate content syndication for authority, relevance, trust, all that good stuff, then Syndication Academy is also something you should be checking out. You can find out more about that at syndication.academy. That's the URL for that. And then if you're ready to grow your digital marketing business, whether you've got an agency, you're consulting, or maybe you're one of the brick and mortar owners who wants to do it themselves or learn how to do it and bring in a team, then join our experienced community. That's the mastermind, all right? So fast access to, like Marco was saying, real world info and testing, as well as access to yours truly and everyone on this call, as well as an advanced peer group. The mastermind is definitely the place you want to check out. And you can find out more about that at mastermind.semanticmastery.com. And last but not least, we mentioned this and said, if you're new to us, you may not have heard of MGYB before, but this is where you can get all of the done for you services, the stuff that we use ourselves, stuff like the Syndication Network's done for you, link building, the SEO Sheild, all this other great stuff. And that's at mgyb.co. Now, even if you haven't gone over there yet, I highly suggest heading over to mgyb.co. You're probably going to see a little pop-up. Hey, join our email list. We're going to send you something. First of all, I put that together. It's freaking awesome. Opt in and you're going to get something good, but we also send out some amazing deals and some really cool training and special offers to people who are on their email list. So we do try to make it valuable. We want it to be good for you. So I highly suggest you go do that. So with that said, I think that's it, guys, unless there's something else we need to cover.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, you guys are seeing my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. The first question is, what types of schemas do you use for a service-based website having a local business address? Is it okay to use local business schema on every page? And what should be put on landing page and what should be on a blog post? No, not actually. It should be whatever the actual landing page is for the location is where the local business schema should be. Or if you have separate location pages, like for example, if it was a multi-location business, you had multiple locations, each location would have its own local business schema that would be unique to that location landing page. Organization schema can go on the homepage if you need that. If it's just a local business and the homepage of the website is the landing page for the GMB, then you could just have local business schema on that. Again, this would be a perfect time for you to pick up Rob's schema architecture course, because that is going to be hands down the best training that you can get for schema. But that's what I would suggest as far as blog posts. You know, there is article markup, there's news article markup, there's blog article markup. So again, you can do separate schema for each blog post, which is what I would recommend that you do. And again, those are different types of schema. The thing is, you don't want to put any sort of one type of schema or structured data across every page of the site. Like I used to put organization schema across every page. And then I would have, even for multi-location businesses, local business schema on the location landing pages. But what happens is you ambiguate the schema types. Google doesn't know unless you structure the data correctly, which can be done. And I guarantee you Rob's course teaches that. Unless you structure or connect the data items correctly within the schema itself, then you can ambiguate what the main entity of the page is. So it's really important not to do that. You can still reference, like, for example, if you had a multi-location business and you had separate location pages, you can reference organization schema from the local business page, but it has to be connected properly within the structured data itself. And that's called, again, it's called connected data items. And that's something that, again, it's a more advanced kind of structured data technique. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's very difficult to do, because it will invalidate or throw errors, or you will just ambiguate the page and it'll end up doing more harm than good. So again, I would recommend that if you're going to be getting into doing schema, which everybody should, that you should pick up Rob's course, because that's going to give you the most thorough and in-depth training on schema that is available, as far as I'm aware. Marco, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, you should have all of those schema types on the website. It's where they belong. That's the key. If you're going to be using a schema generator, it's what everybody else does. You're not going to differentiate your schema from anybody else's by simply using a generator. What we're doing with the course and what we're teaching in the Heavy Hitter Club is to go above and beyond the call of duty, so that you're then referencing. So if you start at the local business level, what you're actually doing is you're starting one level below, because that local business but actually belongs to an organization. It's a sub. Your local is a sub organization of the organization, right? So your location is showing up a physical business or a branch of an organization. I think that's how local schema is defined. And so at the higher level, you have the organization, the parent organization for this local business, which is a way to start referencing your brand, your main entity, and your local business all as part of the same thing. So that when you bring in maybe another location, people are very short-sighted. So they never think that their local business will grow into anything other than a local business. And that's where you're going to stay. So you're going to pigeonhole yourself as that local business. But if you're starting out and your idea is always growth, and you know that you eventually want to be in a city, in a bigger city, it's close by, and you want to be there and you want to have a local business there also. Well, now what you have your parent organization, and you're going to have two locations, which can each be a local business that are part of this bigger organization. And it's how you start referencing these things. I know if you guys see me on social media, I'm always being facetious with Rob. I'm always playing with him about how we're playing the Kevin Bacon game, 6 degrees of separation, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of I love bacon. You're always going to see me, but it's all the same thing. You have nodes on the web at each time you create a local business or an organization or whatever you do. And what you're doing is you're telling Google everything you can about this thing. The thing is a node on the web. The more you tell Google about this thing, the better that you define it, and the better that you tell Google everything that's related to this node. So you're going out and you're naming other nodes and you're showing Google how they all belong. It's the Kevin Bacon game. We go and we try to show how we relate to Kevin Bacon in 6 hops or less, 6 degrees of separation. That's what we do when we play the game, however it is that you play it, right? You could make it harder, 4 degrees of separation in 4 hops. However it is that you do it, that's exactly what you're doing. And this is how you should be kind of thinking about schema. So how then do I reference this local business? How do I make it part of the organization? Or how do I show Google that the organization is actually the parent of this local business, and then how this web page fits in, and how this article fits in, and how my images and my videos and everything else? Well, it's all done through schema, because Google wants to see the structured data. The bot can only read the structured data. It can go into your content and pick out entities. I understand all that. And we work content in a way where we push the entity into Google. But the best way to do it is through the code, where Googlebot is specifically coded to go and read the JSON plus LD code. So if you have that advantage over everybody else, why would, or if you can have it, why would you not go above and beyond what everybody else is doing? Stop using that Yoast garbage that everybody else is. Stop using just web apps or whatever else. Now take that framework and develop it. Because I've seen people commenting on his course that have gone from 20, 30 lines of code to 250 lines, and they're just getting started. I've seen Rob write thousands of lines of schema, where everything references everything and he pushes everything into everything. Once you start doing this, it becomes a game, and it can become endless, and you have to find a way to stop at some point. But what I'm telling you is there's a way to do schema. Rob has changed the game on how schema is done. Go find him on Facebook, Rob Beal. Schematic is the course. Pick it up, do yourself a favor. Stop using the same garbage that everybody else is.
Agreed. Next question. Hey guys, I saw last Humpday Hangout where Bradley mentioned building out a directory, looking to get something set up in a similar way for a specific industry niche. What software plugins would you recommend? Also, if monetizing with paid listings, would you scrape some initial data to create free listings to populate the directory and then later sell the listings? All right, let's unpack this a little bit. All right, so I started off with, I'm only on my second directory theme. The first one I started using was awful, but it was like, honestly, I bought into the theme, and it was really the idea that I purchased was to start a directory. And to me, what I paid for that theme and the course and everything, they were talking about building local business directories. So like essentially you're a general marketing agency where you just target, anybody in your local city or whatever city you choose, and make the directory a city-based directory. I chose to go with a niche-based directory because all I want to work with are tree service contractors. That's all I will work with anymore. So I decided I just used that idea and molded it to what I wanted to do. And for me, what I paid for that theme and that course was worth it because of the idea that it was basically it planted that seed essentially. And so I think it was 100% worth it. But the theme itself that came with it sucked. I'm not going to mention what it is because I don't want to badmouth anybody. However, this is the one that I'm using now. It's called, and there was some issues with it originally, but I think they launched it too soon is the problem. And they've done several major updates to the theme itself since I purchased it, which caused me all kinds of headaches originally because every time they did a major theme update, it would cause shit to break. And I'd have to go in and fix it. And not me personally, one of our support manager, Chris G, he's kind of working with me on a joint venture agreement for some of this stuff. And he handled a lot of that, but it's called Premium Press and it's the directory theme. So anyways, check it out if you want. It's this one right here. It's, I think $100 for a year or whatever, $89 right now. And I think you get, like whatever. If you want additional support, you got to upgrade or pay for additional support every year or something like that. I've been using this theme now since, I guess, November or December when I actually launched the directory site. And I like it. It works pretty good. It does everything that I need it to do. I've learned how to use it. So I'm going to stick with this one for now. But there's other directory themes out there, guys, and plugins and all kinds of stuff. This is just the one that I'm currently using. And I don't expect to change this anytime soon just because I don't want to go through the learning curve of another type of theme or plugin. So I'm going to stick with this one. This is the one I'm using. Okay. Also, if monetizing with paid listings, would you scrape some? Yes. So what I do is, and you know, this theme itself has a CSV importer. It's kind of built into the theme itself. So that's what I do. I go scrape listings from, you know, from Google or whatever, and then I run everything through a, you know, all that have email addresses. I do both. I do prospecting for listings with emails or contractors with emails and also contractors without. And I do that using High Level, which is the, you know, kind of prospecting and automation platform that I've been using for many months now. It's great. But what I do is I scrape all, you know, data. I do it on a state-by-state basis. So I started with just Virginia today. In fact, I just uploaded the Maryland contractors, all the Maryland tree service contractors to the directory, because I've gone through, I think 750 or so Virginia tree service contractors already. So now I went to the next state, which is Maryland, and then I'm going to go to North Carolina. I'm just going to keep expanding that way. So what I do is I scrape all the listings in an entire state, or all the contractors, I should say, in an entire state. Then I clean the list, filter it, dedupe it, then run all of those that have email addresses through an email verification service. I use truemail.io. And then, you know, all the valid email addresses, then they get put into a prospecting campaign where I just basically I upload all of those contractors to the directory, but it's very, very basic. The directory page or listing for that contractor literally just says tree service in whatever their physical, like their primary location, the city that their business is located in. Then it has their company name, phone number, web address, if it has a web address, because not all of them do, and then an email if it had an email. And that's all it states in the listing. There's no images uploaded or anything else. There's a default image that goes for every listing. And then that's it. And they start to index rather quickly. It's crazy how the directory site is picked up on traffic and indexing and all that kind of stuff. And then what I do is we send out prospecting campaigns, either email or voicemail drops or both, a combination of both. And, you know, essentially we're soliciting, we're contacting the contractors that have the free listings that were added to the site. And we're saying, hey, look, can you confirm this information? And I basically just say, look, well, this is the information I have. I don't send them a link. And like, for example, in just the email prospecting, we'll take phone prospecting out of it. Just the email prospecting, I send them an email message. It's a cold email sequence. There's 5 emails in the sequence that goes over, that is emailed out over the course of 18 days. And it's a stop on reply. So if they reply back, then it automatically stops sending them any follow-up emails. But essentially the email just says, hey, this is, you know, Bradley with, and I mentioned the company name, the directory. I say, you know, I need to confirm your company information, contact details for your directory page on, and I mentioned the directory. And then I say, this is what I have listed. Can you confirm if this is correct or not? You know, just reply back and let me know if anything needs changed. Or if you'd like to edit the page yourself, just reply back and tell me, and I can send you the link to the page and instructions on how to register and claim your page as a free, you know, with a free account. And so that's what I do. And essentially what happens is anytime a contractor replies, now I know that I've got a direct line of communication with them. It doesn't matter what their reply is, unless they tell me to go fuck off, which occasionally you get that. In which case I just delete their listing from the directory and I put them on the do not contact list in High Level so that I don't send them any more messages. But most people, either they just don't reply at all, or if they do reply back, then it starts a dialogue. And that means now I have a direct line of communication with that business owner, that contractor. So those are the ones that then, as soon as they reply, it automatically goes into my, you know, into my pipeline inside a High Level as a contact in the contact replied stage, which is stage number 1. And then my VA goes in and actually goes and does like a manual scraping of data for that particular contractor and fleshes out their contact record in High Level, and then optimizes their page on the directory site with their logo, a business description, you know, fleshes it out a lot more so that it's an optimized listing. And then I send that back to the contractor, usually within a few days, along with a video email that I use to kind of pitch my services, which is GMB services mainly. So that's what I do. I'm doing free listings. Originally, when I thought about doing a directory, I thought about doing, you know, paid upgraded listings, but honestly, that's not where the money is. The money is not in selling a directory, a premium directory listing for $100 a year or $20 a month or whatever it is that you think you're going to sell a premium directory listing for. That's not where the money is at. The money is at upselling them on additional marketing services, whether it's a traditional agency, client relationship, or lead generation services, or whatever. And that's what I'm doing. Again, originally I thought I was going to do paid listings too, but I don't think so. I think they'll all be free, and it's just a conversation starter for the time being. It's a foot in the door strategy. But what I found, and this is really interesting, is I've got my lead simplify form on that site, and my directory site. And even though I've only done targeted Virginia contractors thus far, I get organic user submitted listings. In other words, people can go to my directory site, contractors can go to my directory site, register for a free account, and then either claim an existing listing or add their own listing. And I've had, in the past month or so, I've probably had around 15 user submitted listings from people finding the site organically and then submitting their listings from all over the place, from New York, from California, from Oregon, from Iowa, from Florida. I've had all over the place. So it's the site itself is starting to gain authority and gain traction and it's starting to get exposure even outside of Virginia, even though that's all it had. So up until today, that's all that was on there was Virginia contractors. So it's a really powerful strategy. And what I found is because I have on the content, like there's a request quotes page essentially, because it's going to be a national directory. So people can go to the directory and they can either contact the contractor directly, from their the contractor's company page, or if they fill out the quote request form, it goes into my lead simplify app, which then, basically it becomes my lead that then I can turn around and sell to another contractor. And what's interesting is one of my contractors, he gets notified of every lead that comes in through the lead simplify system. And he got one today that was in Georgia. So this is a Virginia-based tree service contractor that purchases leads from me. And he got one today and was like, the lead that I just got came from Georgia. And I was like, never mind, I'll just ignore that one. So it's funny because I get leads coming in through my directory site from all over, not just Virginia, but all over the place now as it's starting to gain more organic traffic. I'm starting to not only get more user submitted listings, but I'm getting leads generated from places that I don't even really have optimized listings in yet. So as I said, as a good starting point, it's just a foot in the door or a conversation starter. But I can see that over the next, 6 months, 12 months, that the site itself, the directory site itself is going to become a big lead generator that then I can turn around and monetize by selling the leads and selling, advertising space and such on the site itself. Okay. Anybody want to comment on that? I know it's kind of like my own thing, but Marco?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Last part of that, it says also because of all the listings will likely be similar, what can we do to properly set up schema to avoid potential duplicate thin content issues? I haven't had any issues at all with my site. And I'm not putting structured data on every single page. Maybe if it's a contractor for example, if it's a contractor that I have communication with, we optimize their page, and then they end up buying leads from me or becoming a SaaS app subscriber or one of my clients, then I will add structured data to their page. But I'm not doing that for just all the general, free, unoptimized listings. There's no way I'm going through all of that. It's too much work. And I haven't had any issues with duplicate content or anything like that because the title tag of every single page is the company name of whatever contractor it is, if that makes sense. And so it's not a duplicate content issue. Not that I think there would be anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that. I think you're overthinking that. Don't worry about it. I haven't had any issues with that whatsoever.
No such thing as duplicate content anyway.
That's correct. So Chris says, hey guys, I got a client who has a whole bunch of branded domains for brand protection, all 301 redirecting to the main.com site. The client is looking to leverage these domains more, and I was wondering if there's anything from an SEO point that could be used or something to monetize them with. Would link building be a good idea? These domains are quite old and have been aged for 4 to 5 years. Curious to get your opinions. Marco, that's a really good question for you. I'm not even sure how to answer that one. What would you do?
Yeah. Link building is always a good idea, except those 301s are not really powerful domains redirecting to the client site. They're just domains that were purchased, TLDs, which don't really provide a protection. That 301, anything that Google is going to push through that 301 is going to go directly to the money site. That's why we build the SEO Sheild. Now, if you want to power up all of those existing domains, this is where it becomes so much work, because what he's talking about is building his own private blog network. So bringing these out from a 301 into existence so that they provide an additional push to the money site. So you're talking about developing each one, content, images, videos, whatever, an SEO Sheild, because now you're separating the entities, or you're making it an additional entity or additional part of this entity. And we don't ever want to confuse Google. So now we have to create the relationships between the main site and this PBN that you're thinking of building, which can become ridiculous, especially the expense. This is one of the reasons why when we were thinking about creating the expansions to our RYS stacks, we said, well, rather than building a PBN, why don't we just expand the existing G site, create the keyword relevance, and then push the power from there into the categories on the money site, mirror the money site on the G site, mirror the G site in the GMB, doesn't matter if it's local or whatever it is, local is relative. Try to mirror those silos in press releases in some kind of way, and then push the link building through the keyword relevance that we've already created and into our entity stacks and everything else that we do that's part of this, into the tier 1 branded, which we're claiming in our schema. And so to me, building all of that power, expanding that RYS stack, which already pushes massive power, and expanding it, extending it so that it creates even more power, pushing power into your silos, pushing then your content out into your syndication network, into a claimed footprint that's no longer obviously there just to provide links back to your website, but it's there serving a purpose. It's part of your brand. It's what you do. It's what everybody else does. Everybody else tweets. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on Pinterest. They're everywhere. So why wouldn't you be? And why wouldn't you be taking advantage of the SEO benefits, since you know a bit more than everybody else? Because you're obviously looking at the SEO benefits behind this. What would you do to monetize them? Like nothing, unless you're waiting to putting all of the work that it takes to rank each and every one of these, which means an SEO Sheild for each one. And it means probably a GMB for each one, and then looking how you're going to claim that footprint. Or if you just want to separate the entity altogether so that they do create that ambiguity, but in a good way, so that you ranking multiple entities for that same set of terms that you're trying to target. But it's now it becomes an idea of, okay, how much am I going to have to spend, or how much is this client willing to spend to get this done? Yeah, it doesn't matter if they've been aged, I'm reading the rest of this, 4 or 5 years. Doesn't really matter. You can take a brand new domain, doesn't even have to be a .com, .net, or whatever. It could, we're ranking .club, .co, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is only how much power you're pushing into these domains to rank them. That's all that matters now. And how well you're taking care, of course, of the entity that you're targeting through each one of these. And so how much money or time are you going to invest? How much money does the client have? That always comes into play. Link building is always a good idea, but we don't do it anywhere except through the SEO Sheild or through T1 branded, right, or outside to press releases, which is a good way to shield yourself, or any other asset that is not the money site. Don't touch the money site. And if you have those domains that are 301 directly, they're redirecting to the main.com site, then you're building links basically directly to the money site through that 301 redirect. I don't know if that really answered the question. So to answer it more succinctly, I wouldn't do anything with them. Build out your SEO Sheild, build out your entity, build out your brand, push power into that, and rank for additional terms. Monetize that rather than anything else.
Agreed. Okay, Gordon says, hey guys, I have a quick question. I was wondering that since it appears that about 90% of consumers now want to check out the website reviews, etc., of a local business before actually contacting them, does Google Ads, mobile call only ads, also known as pay-per-call ads, still work effectively since that type of ad doesn't allow the searcher to do any of that checking before clicking to call? Thank you very much for your help. As always, it is greatly appreciated. Well, it depends on the business, Gordon. Certain businesses, it depends on what the business is. Like I found that, like emergency type services, for example, that a lot of times people don't spend a lot of time researching on, they need a service. They search, they call whoever shows up at the top so they can get it done. For example, emergency tree service, emergency tree removal. We have storms in Virginia, and every now and then we get some bad storms and trees go down everywhere. And next thing you know, our phones blow up because everybody and their brother is calling every tree contractor that they can find in Google, and they're not doing research. They just need somebody to come out immediately. So it depends. Now, I've run call only ads quite a bit. And one of the things that it does is it makes you, it shows the brand name. It's different when you're running ads that with a call, like if you're running an ad, a regular Google search ad, but with a call extension, then you can manipulate the title tags and things like that because it's more of a traditional ad, but it has a tap to call extension included in it. But when you're doing a call only ad, it will usually append the company name because there's not something that you can click through to a website or a landing page. So it will usually append the company name to the call only ad anyway. Whether, so again, a lot of the times the company name will still show up in the call only ad. So people can still do a search. And if they see a call only ad and they see a name, then they could always go do another search to determine, for that brand name and to look at to see their reputation online and, other people's reviews and that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't rule it out. That's for sure. Call only ads. I found that it's hard to be profitable. If it's a client and they're willing to pay for it, then fine. But I'm saying on the lead gen side of things, it's hard to be profitable with Google ads. YouTube's fine. I'm able to get results with YouTube, but and call only ads, I can usually get better results with that than I can with like search ads, traditional search ads. But it's difficult because it's expensive, man. And I feel like it's gotten more expensive over the last couple of years. So it's very difficult to be profitable that way. But as far as what I'm saying with the call only ads, it really depends on the niche. I've tried call only ads in some niches that it wasn't, or industries, I guess, that have a longer type of cycle, buying cycle, purchase, where people take longer to make a decision on whether they want to purchase. They might do more shopping around, more research and that kind of stuff. And those typically, the call only ads don't work well for that. But for, like I said, like HVAC repair, for emergency tree services, roof repair, things like that have more of an emergency type of nature to them, call only ads typically work really, really well. So that's my take on it. Anybody else you want to comment on those?
It's the urgency of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
How urgent is the problem that you need to be taken care of? If you're standing on the toilet with a bathroom full of shit, you could care less about the reviews and the start. You want that fucker who's 5 minutes away to come out and clean up the shit. I mean, I know I'm being very literal, but I want that graphic. I want that image in your mind. You're standing there. I need this taken care of now. Wait a minute. Let me go see how many stars this guy has.
Yeah.
And what are the reviews? Like, no, can you come clean this up right now? Because I need it right now. Now, if you got a crooked nose and you've been looking at your crooked nose in the mirror for years, and you're finally ready, you finally have the money put away to get it taken care of. Now you're going to go and you're going to research who it is that you want touching your crooked nose. It's really like that. So that guy that's dealing with that crooked nose, do you really want people who want to review and research? Do you really want to offer people a click to call ad, or whatever the mobile call only ad to appear for this person? No, because they're doing their research and they're going to pick whoever it is from their research, or they're going to pick whoever it is from their emergency. So what you have to look at, Gordon, who your client is and who the client's target is. That's how you should be basing whether you run the mobile call only ads. Because like Bradley said, you got a tree on your roof. It's now. If you have a tree that might fall on your roof, you got time to research. It's really that's what we're talking about, how urgent that emergency or that problem is.
Right on. Next one is rugs. Rug says, we bought your SEO Shield for our website a month ago, local rug store and e-commerce store. Now what done for you services do you recommend to boost YouTube and GMB? Well, we have embeds and link building, which will work for both of those. I would encourage you. I know you're asking about done for you services. I think we're going to be launching GMB posting soon in MGYB. So that would be something that we would recommend. Absolutely. If you can't wait, then I would recommend picking up local GMB Pro so that you can maybe have somebody in house, or you can train a VA to do GMB posting and optimizing the GMB the way that we teach in local GMB Pro. That's how you're going to get really good, much better results from GMB. As far as YouTube and, just getting better results from the GMB without the on-page stuff, I'm saying that's critical, by the way. So I would encourage you to pick that up. Or if you just want done for you services, then, like I said, YouTube and GMB stuff, embeds, link building, that works. Content marketing, again, that goes back to GMB posting, that kind of stuff. And with YouTube, the syndication networks, you have an SEO Shield, so you have a syndication network. If you have your YouTube channel also triggering to your syndication network, then that's great, because it still works great for YouTube SEO. So every time you publish a video, it will automatically syndicate out across your branded network. So powering up your syndication network with link building and embeds is also very powerful. All of those SEO Shield assets can be powered up with link building and embeds. So all of that, again, think about it. If you're looking for done for you services, then the best thing that you can do is just power up, besides what you're doing for content marketing, right? Producing content, which is critical. Then it's just powering up the asset that you just purchased. And that's something that you just continually do. And you can push a shit ton of power into it if you know how to do it. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, boosting the GMB. Boosting the GMB means that you're constantly doing posts, the local GMB Pro way. If you don't have local GMB Pro way, local GMB Pro rugs, then go get it. It's the training that everything else is based on. Everything else comes from that. We were the originators on that. We were the ones who set the standard for how to use how to SEO local GMB Pro and get results. Something that I'm still using to this day to get results. You guys can see it in the free groups. Just go there, look at my posts, because I'm posting results all the time. So posts, images, local images. Nothing works better than local images. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's just too many niches that I'm working in, and too many posts. I'm getting on some posts 3,000 something views on posts. So there's something to be said about local images versus all other images. It's just time and again I see it. If I use a local image taken at the location, works way better than anything else that anyone can do. No matter how well you spoof it, no matter how well you take care of the EXIF and the metadata and anything else, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's two. Images. Video posts. So you create variety. What you use on the post as a CTA also matters. And then how you link build and how you do embeds plus link building also matters, because you have to get it powering up so that it pops into the 3-pack and it starts getting traction. People start clicking on it. Without that, then you're lost. All you have is something that might look really nice that's not appearing in front of anyone. Getting information from your insights, from your analytics, from your search console, and targeting that information through the GMB. I go through all that in the Heavy Hitter Club. I show exactly how to do it, how to use it, how to pick your keyword groups, how to focus on the entity, how to focus your content on the entity, how to write the GMB post so that it's focused on the entity. These are all things that you have to do. So it isn't just, okay, how else can I boost my GMB? There's a very specific way, there's a very specific method. It's called Local GMB Pro. If you need more, then that's called the heavy hitter club, the paid group, not the free, because the how doesn't get shown for free. Other than that, then you go, if you want done for you, it's mgyb.co. You have access to Dedia, master spammer through mgyb.co. That's who does our link building and our embed gigs to power up everything that we do. The results that you guys are seeing that I'm showing are because I use Dedia. I use Dedia's gigs to get the results that I want. I set everything up the way that I show it. I don't do anything differently. I'm showing the process exactly. And then Dedia comes in and he mashes it, and it all just flows downstream to the destination, to whatever it is that I'm trying to rank. That's the process, and that's the anything else to boost the GMB, which is no small task, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Sweet. So the next follow-up to that was, I heard you recommend a separate syndication network for YouTube. Should it be a single tier? Well, no, not actually. I don't recommend a separate syndication network for YouTube. If you're producing videos and blog content for the same brand, then you should be really syndicating your YouTube content to your branded network as well. The only time I talk about separating it is a lot of people that just do people that were doing YouTube SEO, YouTube stuff, would set up a associated website for their channel, right? And then they would publish videos to their YouTube channel and then go publish those same videos as blog posts to their WordPress, their self-hosted WordPress site. And they would have both trigger the same network, and it ends up looking like duplicate content because they weren't changing the blog posts at all. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I ever said about that. Like, I mean, if you're publishing, content for your YouTube channel for the same brand as your money site and your blog, but the videos are different than the blog posts, then you can trigger both from both sources to the same branded network, and you should, because it's all branded content. However, with YouTube, you can also add as many additional networks as you want that are triggered by YouTube. And they can be persona based, they can be niche based or themed, not branded, because you should only have one branded syndication network, right? That's your tier 1 branded syndication network. But you can stack as many or connect as many syndication networks to YouTube that are not branded, like, again, persona based or theme based, niche based type syndication networks for YouTube. And it doesn't matter how many you add, single tier, multi-tier, it doesn't matter how many you add. The more you add, the more power you can get out of it eventually. Because YouTube, there's no footprint issues. When you're acting as a publisher for Google, there's no footprint issues. Never seen anybody suffer any consequences from having too many syndication networks attached to their YouTube channel. It can cause a problem if you're doing it to your money site for blog syndication, which is why we always recommended one branded syndication tier 1 network for your blog. But again, both your YouTube channel and your blog can syndicate or publish into the same branded network, and they should, because it's branded content. If that makes sense. Okay. The next question I can't answer because it's about e-commerce stuff. Maybe Marco can. On an e-commerce site, should programmatic pages like filtered or searched product list pages get added to the sitemap and index to cover search term with volume, but which there are no specific pages? Should I look for plugins that dynamically generate specific meta and header data for those types? I can't give you any answer on that because I do nothing with e-commerce. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that. Can you?
It's not something that I do or focus on. Like, I don't worry about the search product list pages. I don't worry about adding them to the sitemap or index. Now, it might be a good idea to have them indexed for those search terms that do have volume, but no specific page. But so here's where I go into, or what I go into in the heavy hitter club. When you start seeing those patterns of search terms, then why not build a specific landing page for those terms? people would have a better chance to convert, and you would have a better way of showcasing whatever it is that's covered by those search terms, and you could develop out the schema, maybe content or a set of entities or supporting keywords around that for that term, which would help it even rank better and probably convert better. Yeah, of course, you can dynamically generate the metadata, the header data. You can even, I even use a plugin that I created to dynamically generate schema for e-commerce. But again, I always get into, is there enough traffic for these terms to put the work in that this requires? Or is it something that's better left off for later so that you can focus on things that can drive much more traffic than worrying about these low traffic generating pages? I mean, if it's worth it, if you're seeing it over and over, then it's time to develop a page, not something that's dynamically generated. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone. It probably made sense to Rugs.
God, we got a lot of really good questions. We only got 4 more minutes.
Not enough time.
Sorry, guys. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to all of them. I see several questions. Digital Wahid asking about directory stuff. I would love to address, so maybe we can target some of those next week too.
But isn't that Wayne's VA? He can ask during the Semantic Mastery Mastermind.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah. Yeah, you got the Semantic Mastery group. That's for sure, the mastermind group. So, all right. Sorry, guys. Let me get back to this. We'll try to answer a couple more before we wrap it up for the day. Next one was Bruce. He says, is there anything we can do with subdomains on our website to benefit our overall SEO? I mean, I could give you some like just random ideas, but I don't really see the point in that when you could be focusing your effort on building out your G site, drive stack, all that, and powering that up, which is what we would recommend. I mean, if you don't, the only time I do much with subdomains is I use subdomains for like specific landing pages. If I'm building landing pages on, like landing page builders instead of in the site itself, for example, I might use subdomains for, like a blog. If it's on a site that doesn't have a blog, like most sites are WordPress, obviously, but sometimes they're not. And if they're not, then I might put a blog, a WordPress site on a subdomain for it so that I can have a blog. But for the most part, I don't do anything with. Years ago, we used to do crazy stuff with subdomains but not anymore. We just don't have to because we're able to do everything within Google's ecosystem using Google products and the SEO Sheild, the entity assets. So there's not really anything that I could suggest. How about you, Marco?
We no longer recommend spamming the money site, and the subdomain, although it's treated as a separate domain, it's still part of your money site. I like keeping that clean, pristine. So when people come and look at anything that's related to my website, it all fits the same pattern, the same look, the same colors, and people give them the same opportunity to convert at each one of these points. There's no sense anymore in trying to boost up a subdomain when, like you said, I can just use my G site for that. And I can use an additional drive stack within the main drive stack to do that. And I'm powering up the drive stack and the G site, the main stack and the homepage of my G site. I'm powering up my money site and the categories that attached to that. And I'm powering up my T1 branded because my content is going out into my T1 branded from my boosted website. So what we do just fits everything together where we no longer have to use those subdomains to manipulate domain authority and page authority and what is it, content, I forget, citation flow. We no longer have to do that. It's not necessary.
Okay, last couple questions. Herbert says, hey guys, is it a good idea to build contextual web 2.0 links to an established money site with many links already using URL and generic terms as the anchors, no keywords, or would this damage my money site? I only wish to run a small campaign to dilute anchor text. For diluting anchor text, I prefer using press releases. I don't like to do any sort of web 2.0 link building other than through my syndication network to money site. Web 2.0 links are great for tiered link building to your tier 1 entity assets, but not directly to the money site, which is why we set up the SEO Sheild, because all the link building that we suggest is to your actual SEO Sheild, because that filters or shields, hence the name, shields your money site from any potential Google slapping, so to speak. So that's why we do that. Like, I don't recommend it. You know, I can't suggest to you to do Web 2.0 link building to your money site, because that's not what we do. That's not what we preach, and it's certainly not what we practice. You want to comment on that, Marco?
Never build links to your money site. Let that happen naturally.
Yeah, that's the only time I do it now is, well, through tier 1 entity assets. I will build links to a money site, or through press releases. And even then, I'm not, you know, for the most part, I'm using press releases for naked URLs or branded anchors for the most part. Very rarely will I do any sort of anchor text links to the money site with a press release.
Yeah, but we claim T1 as part of the entity.
Right, correct.
What I mean is, don't grab those Web 2.0 contextuals and throw them at the money site. Throw them at the T1 branded.
That's right. I agree with that 100%. That's what that's for, guys, because it protects your money site. All right, I'm going to answer Dan's 2 questions here, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Sorry, guys, we can't get to all of them today. Dan says, hey, guys, my GMB site is ranking in the map pack, but the money site is back at number 7. What do you suggest to switch that up? Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I've been focusing for the last several months on just GMB stuff, and I could give a shit less about organic rankings. However, in the last probably 5 or 6 weeks now, I've started focusing on that as well. And part of it is because I'm using, and we've talked about this before, but conversion AI paired with Surfer SEO, and it makes drafting well-optimized content. I know that Marco even takes it one step further in the Heavy Hitter Club. I have not gone that far yet. From what I'm doing, I've been focusing on just ranking GMBs, but now I'm also pushing on trying to get organic rankings to catch up with the GMB rankings, so that I get the best of both worlds. And so what I've been doing and I've been doing this myself. I've not trained anybody to do this yet, but I've been writing and optimizing content with conversion AI using Jarvis, right? Which really just helps me the conversion AI doesn't actually write all the content. It just sparks ideas for me or changes tonality of the content so that I can draft it. And then I tune it with Surfer SEO, which integrates with conversion AI. And I've had significant jumps in organic. For example, I've got GMBs ranking in a 3-pack, but the corresponding location landing page might be on page 3, page 4. No shit. And I didn't care because we're getting leads. That's all that matters. That's what I sell leads. So I don't care where the leads come from as long as I'm getting leads. However, like I said, I was just talking about this with my partners yesterday. I got, you know, doing conversion AI and Surfer SEO and just doing on-page stuff. And I'm optimizing the on-page for the GMB website itself, and also the location landing page if it has an associated, you know, self-hosted landing page or website for that GMB. So I'm optimizing those 2 pages with using conversion AI to help me draft the content, and then I tune it with Surfer SEO. And I've seen page, like I just talked about, like on page 3, for example, the landing page associated with the GMB that's in the 3-pack, but the landing page is on page 3. Optimize the content, and within 7 days, 10 days, it jumps to page 1. I mean, moves up 25, 30 spots. No shit. It's crazy. And that's with like little to no backlinks other than what we've built through our tier 1 branded entity assets. So that's what I would suggest. That's what I was getting at with all of that was optimize your on-page content, both in the GMB website and on the location landing page. Tune the content, use some of the tools. Surfer SEO is not the only tool out there that does it. It just happens to integrate with conversion AI, which is why I like it. But again, optimize your on-page, and I'm seeing significant organic jumps just from doing that, especially if it's got a GMB website associated with the GMB that's already ranking. Optimize the content on the GMB website also, and then the landing pages that is associated with that GMB, and those 2 combined, you usually see a pretty significant jump in organic rankings. At least I have. Any comments on that, Marco?
Yeah, just to correct it a little bit, I am not teaching how to do content Jordan's way in the Heavy Hitter Club. That stays in POFU. That died in POFU. The people who were there got it, and the people who weren't there did not get it and will not get it. He might come again to POFU Live, next POFU Live, and do a redub version of his content writing system and how the VA that we train does it. He might. I can't guarantee it. I have to talk to him. But if he does, I can guarantee you it's not getting out of POFU Live 2021, just like it didn't get out of 2020. That's one. 2, as far as your business site ranking, sometimes that initially that pushes a lot of power. use the right link in the GMB to link to your money site, and then do your schema correctly, the way that Rob teaches in his schema course to create all of the relationships, how your money site relates to the GMB, which one the parent organization is, and that takes care of a lot of your problems, where your money site will start to come up and the GMB will start to go down. But I mean, why do you care? The GMB is also a money site. The GMB is also a converting page. It's part of your brand. Why does it matter that the money site is at 7 and that the GMB site is ranking, or the one is ranking better than the other? They're both related. They should both convert. So to me, that's not an issue. It's an issue that takes care of itself over time, or that you can take care of with the right schematic relationships.
Perfect. Our last one, I just want to cover this and we'll wrap it up. Dan says, another quick question. A client site was spammed with dozens of URLs. However, I can't find them in the dashboard to delete. Any ideas? Not sure what you mean when you say dashboard, unless you're talking about Search Console. If you have link building, link analysis tools like Majestic, which I just subscribed to Majestic again after not having a subscription for years. But anyway, if you have something like Majestic or Ahrefs or something like that, where you can get a list of, but typically you can export the links from Search Console that are linking to the site. But if not, if for whatever reason they're not showing in Search Console, which I don't know why they wouldn't be, but if they're not, then if you have the list of links that you know are pointing to the site, and from like Ahrefs or from Majestic or whatever, SEMrush, whatever, then you could always do a disavow file. I know some people don't like doing that or say never do that, blah, blah, blah. But I've had client sites that were spammed that I submitted disavow files for and actually seen, significant improvements. So again, you have to determine whether it's something you want to do or not. But, I think there is something to be said for disavow files, because I've actually had good experiences with it. So that if that answers your question, I'm not sure that was exactly what your question was. I'm not sure what you mean by dashboard. I can only assume that you mean Search Console. But typically, if the link is present and Google is aware of it, it will show in Search Console. You just have to do an export links list, and you'll get a CSV file with all of the links in it. And then you can always go back and select the ones that are spam links that or harmful links, and then submit them as a to the disavow tool. So that's my take on it.
Those of you wanting the how, those of you needing more, heavyhitter.club. That's where we get into the technical side of things. That's the only place where I share and go deep into how it's all put together, how it's all done.
That's it. Thanks, guys. I can't wait to check out his schemas course, man.
Yeah.
On that rabbit hole.
You thought POFA was good. Wait until you get the course.
It's awesome. Thanks, Marco, for sticking around. See you guys next week.